Oh, let's get started in child's pose today. I'll make my way to my mat here in a second. I'm just checking making sure all my settings are correct. So if child's pose is not a position you like to start in, if you'd rather start in a seat, you are welcome to start in a seat for sure. Once you make your way down towards child's pose, if you'd like to get started there, big toes touch, take your knees as wide as you would like to. If you'd prefer to have your thighs together, you can let your belly just relax on top of your thighs. If you like to take those knees out to the width of the mat, you can let your torso fall in between those thighs, reaching those fingertips as far forward towards the top edge of your mat as you'd like to. And just take notice of how your physical body feels here in this position. Making any physical adjustments that you need to make here. And then once you feel physically settled, you can begin to shift your focus over to your breath. Allowing those full inhales to expand the front, back, and sides of your rib cage. And those complete exhales, an opportunity to release and to let go. We'll take several more big breaths just like this. One more full round of breath here. And then trying to keep those hips nice and low. You can walk those fingertips over to the right. Maybe even bringing those fingertips off the right side of your mat. Coming into a nice left side body stretch here. Finding a full inhale. And a full exhale. And then when you're ready, gently make your way through the center. And then walk those fingertips off to the left side. Nice right side body stretch here. Try to keep those hips low. Just moving the fingers, the arms, shoulders, and head. Full breath in. And a big breath out. And then we'll bring ourselves gently back to center here. One more full round of breath in this child's pose. When you feel ready, carefully bringing that torso up, coming into a seat. You're welcome to sit on your shins from where you are. If you want to swing your legs around and come into a loosely crossed-legged position, that's totally okay too, whatever feels better for you. And then eyes open or closed once you arrive in your seat. Let's inhale those arms all the way overhead. Press your palms together, melt your shoulder blades down. Exhale to draw thumbs to heart center. Twice more. Inhale, palms pressing overhead here. Exhaling, thumbs to heart center. Once more. Inhale, let's press those palms overhead. Exhaling, thumbs to heart center. Allowing those hands to come onto those thighs. We'll roll the shoulders back, bring the chest forward. Maybe take an opportunity to gaze up here. Seated cow. And then on your exhale, roll your shoulders forward, tuck in your belly, and then look down at the floor. Seated cat pose. As we inhale, the shoulders roll back, the chest comes forward, maybe a look up. And then we'll exhale, rolling the shoulders forward, tuck in that belly. Once more, inhale, roll those shoulders back, chest comes forward, gazing up. And then we'll exhale to roll the shoulders forward, tuck in that belly, looking down. Allowing ourselves to come back to our neutral spine here. Any other shoulder rolls or neck rolls that feel good for you, take a moment. And then when you're ready, we'll make our way over to our tabletop position here. Checking alignment, of course, as we get ourselves set up and started. So spread those fingers nice and wide. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Knees should be about hip distance apart, and then those toes can be tucked under or untucked, your choice here. We'll inhale to drop the belly, lift up the gaze, lift up the tailbone. Exhale, push the mat away and dome the upper back. Inhaling, the belly drops, the gaze lifts, the tailbone lifts. Exhaling to push the mat away. Once more, inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, lift the tailbone. And exhale to push the mat away. Come on back to our neutral tabletop here. Take a full round of breath in. And a full round of breath out. And then we'll set those knees about 5 inches behind those hips here. Tuck your toes under, take a big inhale. Exhale, hips to sky to find downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breaths here. You can pedal it out if you'd like to. Bend and straighten those knees if you'd like to. You can wiggle those hips. One more full breath. Let's inhale. And exhale. We'll send those hips a little bit higher. Take our baby steps towards the top of the mat here. Coming into a forward fold once you arrive. Find as much of a bend in those knees as you need to. And then we'll bring our hands to our shins. Inhale to come up halfway, finding a flat back. Exhale to fold all the way down. Let's do that twice more here. Hands to shins. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale to fold down. One more time, hands to shins. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale to fold all the way down. Coming up one vertebrae at a time, everybody, nice and slowly. Press through both feet. That torso comes all the way up. Palms pressed overhead. Once you arrive, you can gaze up. Inhale. And then we'll exhale to draw thumbs to heart center, mountain pose, Tadasana. Good. We'll do some side bends here. We have the cat, don't worry. We're down through both feet here. You can stay facing the front of the mat. I just wanted to turn to face you. Let's inhale those arms overhead, press your palms together. Exhale, take a side bend over to the right. So press your left hip away. Keep your chest nice and open. Compress your palms together. Breath in. Breath out. Then we'll inhale ourselves back to center. You're welcome to gaze up. Exhaling, take our side bend to the left. Put your right hip away here. Chest is open. Take a full inhale. And a full exhale. And then let's inhale ourselves back to center. You can gaze up at your thumbs. As we exhale, let's fold forward over those thighs. Hands coming to shins. Inhale, let's bring ourselves up halfway. And then we'll exhale to plant our hands firmly. Let's take ourselves back, finding downward facing dog. Let's take our time here. Take a full round of breath. Full exhale. One more time. Big inhale here. Big exhale. We'll inhale that right leg towards the ceiling. We're going to bend that right knee and make some big hip circles right side. Try to keep your shoulders squared off here. And then we'll take those hip circles the opposite direction. And then on your next inhale, extend that right leg straight behind you, square off your hips. Exhale to step that right foot forward. Drop your back knee down. If you need a blanket underneath this back knee, that's okay, you can grab it. And then we'll bring ourselves up into our first low leg lunge of today. So that right knee stacks on top of that right ankle. Try to square off those hips. Shoulders are over those hips. Fingertips reach up. 3 breaths right here. One more breath, everyone. Inhale. As we exhale, carefully frame your front foot, lift your back knee. Let's take ourselves back to find downward facing dog. Full breath in here. Full breath out. Inhaling, left leg towards the ceiling, square hips here, and then we'll bend that left knee and make those hip circles left side. Take your time. And we'll take those circles the other direction here for a moment. And then when you're ready, on your inhale, square off your hips, extend your left leg straight behind you. As you exhale, carefully step your left foot forward, drop that back knee down, coming into our low leg lunge, left side. Take your time getting there. That left knee stacks on top of that left ankle. Right knee's behind the right hip. Strong squared hips here. Fingertips reach up. 3 breaths. Let's take one more breath, everyone. Inhale. As we exhale, carefully framing that front foot, lift that back knee, and we'll step ourselves back to find downward facing dog. Big inhale here. Full exhale. One more, let's take a breath in. And a breath out. Sending those hips a little higher, take our baby steps again to the top of the mat. Finding our forward fold. Once you get there, again, as much of a bend in the knees as you need. Hands coming to shins. Inhale, let's lift up halfway. Exhale to fold down. Coming all the way up to standing here. Press those palms together overhead. You can gaze up at your thumbs. And then on your exhale, thumbs through, heart center, mountain pose, Tadasana. So let's do one more round of side bends, everybody. Feet again, hip distance apart, root down through both feet. Inhale, press those palms together overhead. Exhale, side bend to the right. If you can take it a little further than your first one, go for it. Chest stays open. You can look up underneath that left armpit if you want to. One more round of breath here. And then we'll inhale ourselves back to center. You can look up. Exhale, taking our side bend to the left. Again, if you can take it a little further, go for it. Big breaths in. Full breath out. And then we'll inhale ourselves back to center. You can gaze up. Exhale to fold forward over those thighs. Hands coming to shins. Inhale, let's bring it up halfway. And then as we exhale, plant those hands firmly. Let's bring ourselves back, finding downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Full breath out. Inhaling that right leg towards the ceiling here. Square hips, everyone. Exhale to step it forward. We've got one more round of low leg lunges on each side. So drop your back knee down. Bring that torso all the way up. Low leg lunge, right side. Find that breath. We're going to build on this a little bit here. Inhales. And exhales. Staying here for one more inhale. As we exhale, left fingertips come down, right fingertips to the sky, taking our twist here. One more breath. Inhale here. As we exhale, frame your front foot and then send your hips back to stretch out that right hamstring. So our hips are stacked over the back knee here. Try to square off if you can. Breath into this front hamstring. You can keep your right foot flat or pop those right toes up if you want to. Let's take 3 breaths right here. One more breath, everybody. Let's inhale. As we exhale, make our way forward, plant those hands firmly, and step ourselves back to find downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Inhaling left leg towards the ceiling, nice square hips here. Exhale to step it forward. Last low leg lunge, everybody. Drop that back knee down. Torso comes all the way up when you're ready. Low leg lunge, left side. Find that breath again. One more inhale here. And then as you exhale, right fingertips come down, left fingertips reach towards the sky, taking our twist left side. 3 breaths here. One more inhale right here. As you exhale, carefully framing that left foot, send those hips back here to straighten that left knee, coming into the hamstring opener left side. So again, we want to square off those hips here. You can keep your front foot flat or pop those front toes up. That's up to you. Let's find that breath again. Inhales. One more full inhale here. And then as we exhale, carefully making our way forward, lift that back knee and step ourselves back to downward facing dog. Big breath in, my friends. Full breath out. Send those hips a little bit higher. You can take your baby steps or one big step to the top of the mat. Coming into our forward fold once you get here. Bringing hands to shins. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to fold down. Root down through both feet. Let's bring ourselves all the way up to standing. Press palms together overhead. You can gaze up. And we'll exhale, thumbs through, heart center, mountain pose, Tadasana. Okay, let's come into chair pose, but with feet wide. So your feet are hip distance apart here. You can start with your hands on your hips, drop those hips back and down, coming into our chair. Even though those knees are apart, we don't want those knees to buckle in here. So we have nice alignment, hip, knee, ankle. And then you can keep your hands on your hips or you can sweep arms up overhead. Settle in 3 breaths. One more breath. Let's inhale here. And exhale. We'll inhale to stand all the way up. Press your palms together overhead. Exhale to fold forward over those legs. You can grab the opposite elbows here if you'd like to, or grab onto your big toes. We're going to hang out in this forward fold for 3 breaths. And then we'll unhook those hands wherever you have them, finding a halfway lift and a flat back. Inhale. And then we'll exhale to plant those hands. Let's step it back to find downward facing dog. Full big inhale here. And a big exhale. Let's inhale that right leg towards the ceiling, square hips here. Exhale to step that right foot forward. Top up onto those fingertips here for balance. We want to set ourselves up before we go anywhere here. So that right knee is stacked on top of that right ankle. Square hips. Torso comes up to full-size crescent lunge when you are ready. Good, so press through the ball of your back foot here. Keeping that right front knee stacked on top of that right ankle here. And then if you have to use your hands to figure out what square hips actually looks and feels like, that's okay. Fingertips reach up. 3 breaths, how about it? Finding one more breath. Let's stay strong in those legs. Everybody, left hand to the left hamstring. Right fingers reach up. You can keep your torso upright, or if you want a little bit of a back bend, you can start to lean back into it. Stay strong in those legs. Take one giant inhale. And an exhale. And then come on back to center, crescent lunge, inhale. Exhale to frame that front foot carefully and step it back to find downward facing dog. Big breath in here. Full breath out. Inhaling that left leg towards the ceiling with square hips. Exhale to step that left foot forward. Use those fingertips, everybody, to get your balance. That front foot is flat. Left knee stacks on top of that left ankle. Press through the ball of your back foot. And then bring your torso up once those legs are super strong and stable. Crescent lunge left side. Shoulders over those hips. Strong and steady here. 3 breaths. One more breath. And then that right hand is going to find that right hamstring. Left fingers reach up. You can keep your torso where it is or start to lean back a little bit. More of a front body opener here. One big breath in. Big breath out. Let's inhale ourselves back to center, crescent lunge. And then we'll exhale to frame that front foot, stepping it back to downward facing dog. Big breath in. And a full breath out. And then we'll send those hips a little higher. You can take your baby steps or one big step to the top of the mat here. Forward fold once you arrive. Hands coming to shins. Inhale, let's come up halfway. Exhale to fold down. Inhale to come all the way up to standing. Press those palms together overhead. You can gaze up, you can back bend. Exhale, thumb screw, heart center, mountain pose. Tadasana. Good, we're gonna do one more chair pose. Let's bring those feet all the way together this time, everybody. Big toes touch, calves together, thighs together. Drop it back and down. You can keep hands on hips. You should be able to see your toes when you look down. And if you want to reach those arms up and overhead, you're welcome to that. Settle in, 3 breaths. One more breath here. As we inhale, we're going to stand all the way up, pressing those palms together. As we exhale, we're going to fold forward over those legs and separate those feet to hip distance again here. Grabbing opposite elbows or grabbing those big toes for this forward fold. 3 breaths. One more breath, my friends. Let's inhale. And exhale. Good, we're gonna unhook those hands. We're gonna plant our left hand on the mat in front of our feet here. So I like to put it right in the middle between my feet and then about 5 inches in front of my feet. If you need a block, you can use a block. Right hand to right hip, bend your knees. And then we're gonna start to open our torso up to the right here. As we do so, our right knee straightens more, our left knee bends more, so we're coming into a deeper right hamstring stretch. And then you can keep your right hand on your hip or bring those right fingers to the sky. 3 breaths. And then when you're ready, we'll carefully unwind, coming back to center here, bend both knees, everybody. And then we'll switch sides. So that right hand roots down, left hand to left hip, both knees are bent to get us started. And then we'll start to rotate our torso open to the left. As we do so, we bend deeper into that right knee, straightening that left knee. And then as we open up to the left hand can stay on left hip, or you can take your left fingers to the sky. 3 breaths here. One more breath. Left hand can come back to left hip here. Rotate back to center, bend those knees. You can straighten and bend them back and forth if you want to. And then when you're ready, we'll bring hands to shins, inhaling ourselves to a halfway lift. As we exhale, plant those hands firmly. Let's take ourselves back to downward facing dog. Check it out. You can bend and straighten those legs if you want to. We'll take a full inhale. And a full exhale. We'll inhale that right leg towards the ceiling with square hips here. Exhale to step it forward. Use those fingertips to balance, everybody. Back knee stays lifted. We'll come up into our full-size crescent lunge right side. We've been here before. Find a big inhale. Full exhale. One more breath in. As we exhale, we're going to pivot the left foot down, coming into warrior 2 on our right side. So that right knee is still stacked on top of that right ankle. Try to sink into this right thigh here. Press through that left foot. Arms straight and strong. Finding that breath here. One more breath. We're gonna flip that right palm. Reach those right fingers behind us, revolve warrior. Stay strong in those legs, everybody. Strong and steady here. Inhale. And exhale. And then we'll inhale ourselves back to warrior two here. As we exhale, bend that right elbow, right forearm to right thigh, left fingers to the sky, finding side angle pose here. So press your forearm into your thigh, thigh into your forearm. The bottom palm should face the ceiling. We've got a good space between the side of the body and the thigh here. So press that torso open. 3 breaths. Pressing through both feet, my friends. And then on your next inhale, we're going to carefully come back up to warrior two. And then we'll straighten that right knee. We'll point all of our toes towards the left side of the mat, setting up for a wide-legged forward fold. Adjust those feet as you need to. I always do. So our toes are in slightly, heels are out slightly. We'll get started with hands on hips. Let's roll those shoulders back, chest forward, inhale. As we exhale, let's come halfway down. We want to check our alignment first. Hip, knee, and ankle should all be in a line. You don't want your butt too far back. And then when you're ready, bring those hands down. So you're welcome to put something under your hands if you need to. You're welcome to keep your hands on the ground or come to your forearms. Head is heavy once you arrive in your final position for here. 3 breaths in this pose. One more breath, inhale. And exhale. We're gonna inhale ourselves to a halfway lift right here. So plant both hands. As we exhale, we're gonna make our way around to our right foot here, framing that right foot, and then we'll step ourselves back, exhaling to downward facing dog. So again, you can bend and straighten those knees. Find that breath again. And then on your next inhale, left leg comes towards the ceiling with square hips. Exhale to step your left foot forward. Pop up onto those fingertips to find your balance here. Press through the ball of the back foot. Root down firmly through that left foot as well. Torso comes up, crescent lunge, left side when you're ready. Just as a transition. Full inhale right here. And then as we exhale, we'll pivot that right foot down, coming into warrior two, left side. So we should have heel to heel or heel to arch alignment here. You don't want your feet too offset there. Left knee's on top of that left ankle, shoulders over hips. Let's find that breath. One more breath, inhale. And exhale. Let's flip that left palm, reach left fingers behind, revolved warrior. Here, stay strong in those legs, big breath in. Full breath out. Inhaling ourselves back to center here. As we exhale, left forearm to left thigh, right fingers to the sky, side angle on this side. Push your forearm into your thigh, thigh into forearm. Reach those right fingers up, press through both feet, 3 breaths. One more breath. And then we'll inhale ourselves back to our warrior two, straightening that left knee here, and then we'll turn our toes towards the right side of the mat. One more wide-legged forward fold here. Toes in, heels out. Hands on hips. Inhale, roll shoulders back. Exhale to fold it forward. If you'd like to drop your hands or forearms down, or this time if you want to grab onto those ankles, you can. 3 breaths. And then on your inhale, we'll find that halfway lift. Plant those hands under your face here. As As we exhale, let's rotate ourselves to frame our left foot here, square off those hips, and we'll step it back to find downward facing dog. Big breath in. Full breath out. We'll inhale those knees to the mat. Exhale, hips to heels, child's pose, 5 breaths here. Let's take a rest. And then when you're ready, making our way through our tabletop position, readjust those knees, hip distance apart and a few inches behind those hips. Shoulders over wrists. Tuck your toes, take an inhale. Exhale, hips to sky, downward facing dog. Let's take a big breath in. Full breath out. Send those hips a little higher. You can walk, step, or hop to the top of the mat. Finding our forward fold once you get up here. Hands to shins, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold down. Root down to rise up, coming all the way up to standing, press palms together overhead. You can gaze up, you can back bend. Exhale, thumbs through, heart center, mountain pose, Tadasana. Good, let's do our balancing series here. We're gonna take tree pose today with a little variation, okay? So I'll face you for the first one, and then I'll face sideways for the second one here. So root down through your left leg here. Your right foot can kickstand here, which means it keeps contact with the floor. You can bring it to your calf, or you can bypass your knee joint and come up to the inner thigh. Right, so you wanna press your standing leg into your foot, foot into standing leg here. Try to level those hips if you can. And then once your lower body is nice and stable, you can take those arms up overhead, whoop, and make any shape tree with the upper body that you'd like to here. If you fall out of it, that's okay. Just come back into it. Let's find that breath. Legs are strong and steady, everybody. Inhale those arms overhead. Exhale, thumbs to heart center. Keep our upper body right where it is. We're gonna actually cross our right ankle across our left thigh now, coming into a figure 4 with those legs. And then we'll drop those hips down to find our figure 4 chair. Let's keep our hands at our heart center for this one today. 3 breaths here. One more breath, inhale. And exhale. Then we'll inhale to stand all the way up. Exhale that right foot down. Good. Shake it out, we'll take the other side. I'll face the other way just so you can see what it's supposed to look like from the side here. So we're rooting down through our right foot this time. That left foot can kickstand to find our tree pose. You can find the calf, or you can find the inner thigh. And again, pressing foot into thigh, thigh into foot, or calf, wherever you have it. Trying to level those hips. Then when you're ready, arms can reach up, making any shaped tree you'd like to make with the upper body. Find that breath. One more breath, my friends. Let's inhale. Let's exhale. And then we'll reach those arms overhead, press palms together. Drawing thumbs to heart center here, we'll keep them right there. And then we're gonna cross our left ankle across our right thigh, coming into our figure 4 chair right from here. If you fall out of it, my friends, that's okay. Just reset, no big deal. 3 breaths. And then we'll inhale to stand all the way up here. Exhale that left foot down. Good, let's shake it out. Beautiful, make our way back to the top of our mat here. If you have deviated, let's inhale those arms up overhead, press palms. Exhale to fold forward over those legs. Coming to a halfway lift on your inhale, flat back. And then we'll exhale to root those hands down. Let's take ourselves back to downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breaths here. So if you want a child's pose, you can find child's pose. If you want to bend and straighten those knees, you can. If you're in child's pose, come on back up to downward facing dog. And then from down dog, everybody will inhale that right leg towards the ceiling, square hips here. Exhale to step it forward. And then we're gonna pop our left foot about halfway forward, coming into pyramid pose right here. Good. So we've just closed off the distance between our feet here. Our right toes continue to point forward. Our left toes are gonna point out a little bit here. If you wanna come up onto your front shin, you can, or keep your hands on the ground. And then we wanna work to square off those hips. So typically our left hip is gonna be up towards the sky. We wanna square off towards the floor. Let's find 3 breaths, how about it? And then we'll put a little tiny bend in that right knee. Plant those hands firmly. We're gonna step our left foot back so that we're back in our lunge again, and then step that right foot back to downward facing dog. Again, bend and straighten those knees if you want to. Find a big breath. Inhale. And exhale. We'll inhale that left leg towards the ceiling with nice square hips. Exhale to step that left foot forward here. You can use those fingertips again for balance. We'll pop that right foot about halfway forward here, coming into pyramid pose on this side. So again, if you want to come up to your shins, you can, or use props. Left toes point forward. Those right toes now are out slightly here. Root through both feet. And then square those hips. 3 breaths. Then we'll put a little bend into that left knee. Plant those hands firmly, step your right foot back so those legs make a lunge again, and then step it back to find downward facing dog. Let's find a big inhale. Full exhale. One more time, everybody. Big breath in. Full breath out. Let's inhale ourselves forward to a high plank here. As we exhale, we're going to make our way all the way down onto our belly. And we're going to set ourselves up. I'm going to move this for you. Setting ourselves up for Sphinx pose. So, both legs are down, right? We don't want our feet up for this pose here. Make sure your shoulder is stacked on top of your elbow here. And then your forearms should be parallel to each other. So we haven't really done any cobras, baby cobras, or up dogs today. So this is our sort of big chest opener here. Think about taking your shoulder blades onto the back. Pelvis is heavy. If this feels okay, you feel stable, you can start to straighten your elbows here. This can be a lot on that low back, so if that is not accessible, that is okay. Pelvis is heavy, both legs are down. You can even engage your glutes to help with this posture. 3 breaths. If it's too much, come back onto those forearms, everybody. One more breath. Let's inhale. Exhale. And then we'll lower all the way down. You can come onto a cheek here. We're going to bend those knees and rock our feet side to side here. Let's take one more breath right here. And then we'll make our way back to center, extend those legs back and behind, tuck your toes under, plant your hands firmly, let's press up either to tabletop or high plank, find an inhale, and then exhale, hips to sky, finding downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Inhaling right leg towards the ceiling here, square hips. Exhaling to step it forward, coming into pigeon. So walk your right foot over to the left, drop your right shin down, drop your left knee down. So as we set ourselves up here, that right knee should be wider than your right hip. You can have your back toes tucked or untucked, that's up to you. Nice straight line from that left hip to the left toes here. And then even if your pelvis is not all the way down, like if you're lifted up a little bit, that's okay. We want to be square. Settle in. You can stay upright if you want to today. You can come onto your forearms. You can drop all the way down onto your belly. Bring your forehead down to the mat. If you're feeling fancy, you can take a quad stretch left side. Plenty of options here. We're going to take 8 breaths, so take your time. One more big breath here. Let's inhale. And exhale. From wherever you are, we're going to carefully bring that torso back up. So plant your hands firmly here. Tucking the back toes under, lift the back knee off the mat. And then we'll step ourselves back to downward facing dog. Shake it out. We'll take the other side here in a second. Find your breath. When you're ready, we'll inhale that left leg towards the ceiling, square hips here. Exhale to step that left foot forward, coming into pigeon left side. Walk your left foot to the right, drop that shin down, drop your back knee down. So setting it up the same way, left knee is wider than the left hip. That gives our lower back lots of space there. Straight line from right hip to right foot. And then again, once that pelvis is settled here, you can stay upright. You can walk it forward to the forearms or to the belly. You can take a quad stretch right side, right? So lots of options here. 8 breaths. When you are ready, take your time. We'll bring that torso up here. Planting both hands firmly, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee off the ground, and then we'll step ourselves back to downward facing dog. Finding a big inhale and a full exhale. And we'll send those hips a little bit higher. You can walk, step, or hop to the top of the mat. And then we'll bend those knees, drop those glutes all the way down onto the ground. Forearms around shins. Give yourself a big hug here. Take a moment. We're not going to roll back just yet. Find your breath. Inhale. And exhale. Bottoms of the feet together, knees out to the side to find butterfly pose here. You can take your feet away from your torso, or away from your pelvis if you want to, or draw them in. That's up to you. Root down through both sit bones here. And then you can keep your torso up nice and tall if you'd like to, or you can fold forward. That's up to you. We'll take 3 breaths. Let's bring that torso back up if you're folded. We'll close those knees like we close a book here, wrap forearms around shins, and then we'll make our way all the way onto our backs. You can make those circles with your knees if you'd like to. Right. And then we'll make our way back to center. Plant those feet firmly here, knees are bent. Allow your arms to take up as much space as you'd like. We'll take a twist to each side. If there's a particular twist you'd like to take today, you can. Otherwise, you can follow me, walking feet to the width of the mat. Let your knees knock in together, finding a big inhale. And then we'll exhale as those knees fall over to the right. The feet come apart, the knees come apart. Right side. 3 big breaths. And then when you feel ready, inhaling those knees back to center. You can rock side to side a little bit if you want to. And then on an exhale, we'll let those knees fall to the left, taking the same shape over to the left side. 3 breaths. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale our knees back to center here. Again, you can rock those knees side to side if you'd like to. And then when you feel ready, draw your knees in towards your chest, reach in between those thighs to grab onto the toes, the arches, or the ankles to find happy baby pose. 3 big breaths here. Gently drawing those knees back in together. You can extend your legs up towards the sky, draw your toes towards your face. See how those hamstrings feel today. If you'd like to stay here, you're welcome to stay here. You can draw the bottoms of your feet together, take your knees out to the side. You can take legs up the wall if that feels good for you. Or finding any other poses or postures that you need today. We'll take a few moments here, finding those poses that you feel best in at this moment. Continuing to find that breath. And while you guys are doing that, I will put Monday's Zoom info in the chat so that before you leave, you can check that out. So let's take our time. If you've taken a twist over to one side, make sure you take that twist to the other side. If you haven't made your way over to the wall and you'd like to take legs up the wall, feel free to make that adjustment. Certainly, if you are ready for full Shavasana, you can make your way there. Take your time. If you'd like to practice Shavasana with legs up the wall, that's waterfall pose, you're welcome to that. Otherwise, those legs go long, allowing your feet to take up the width of the mat. Arms can take up as much space as you'd like to. And then take a big full inhale. Exhale into the support of the earth beneath you. And enjoy full Shavasana. Let's take a big full breath all the way in. And a big full breath all the way out. Before we make any physical movements, just take note. Just take notice of how the body feels here. When you feel ready, gentle movements in the fingers and toes. Gentle rolling of the wrists and ankles. And a gentle rock of the head side to side. In your own time, feel free to extend those arms all the way overhead, getting as long as you can from your fingertips to your toes. And take a big sweet breath all the way in. As you exhale, gently draw your knees in towards your chest, wrap your forearms around your shins, give yourself a big hug. Take a moment here to thank yourself for practice today. When you feel ready, make your way over to your favorite side in a fetal position. Take a moment, as we always do in this posture, to call to mind who in our lives we are grateful for. With a heart full of gratitude, use both hands to bring you up to a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like and feels like for you. Palms pressing together at heart center once you arrive, eyes open or closed. Let's close out with one more big breath together. Inhale. And exhale. The light inside of me loves and honors the light inside each of you. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much. I love you. Monday's Zoom yoga info is in the chat if you would like it. If you don't like the Zoom chat function, you can always send me an email. That's okay too. And I love you. Have a
Thanks,
good
Courtney.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
See you Monday.
Bye.
See you Monday.
Thank you,
Bye.
Courtney.
Bye.
Thank you.